Hi, everybody. This is my second try. Oh, it's one of those days. I've been out in the garden, so I'm not looking so hot, but that's okay. Um, Get my hair up here, so it's shorter than usual. My hair actually comes down below my tailbone, so it's long. um, that's why I put it up sometimes, especially when I'm out in the garden. Keep it out of the way. Otherwise, it dangles down and you know. um, I wanted to just sit and gab with you and maybe talk about my garden. Um, yeah, it's doing well. The last 2 days we've had beautiful showers. What we should have had in the spring. Um, and today now there's a 30% chance of showers again. We've gotten a tiny sprinkle, but we haven't really gotten any showers, which is fine. I went out and watered the plants anyway, and I was thinning my radishes and carrots and turnips. Um, I still need to do some more thinning, but uh, I can't stand for very long, so I do a little bit and then I stop. And something got into my radish plants. It looked like somebody took a big hand and just scooped the dirt back and then got in under the radishes and took a swath, oh, 2.5 to 3 inch swath of my radishes out. So since I had to pluck some, I did transfer. So I have radishes in there again. But yeah, I've been having some problems, especially in the blue barrels down there where my radishes are. Um, Animals have been getting in there and treating themselves to my plants. Um, I've lost some radishes, couple of pepper plants, a couple of cabbage plants. Um, what else? Oh, a couple of turnips. Um, they haven't touched the carrots yet, which is a little surprising, but that's okay. So, yeah, oh, I'm a murderer. I'm a murderer. I, um, a couple of days ago, actually, I think it was Friday, I, went out to my garden and I was watering it, and I noticed that there was a mound about this high in one of my um, blue barrels out there. We cut them in half and have container garden. And I noticed there was a nice high mound in the one, and it only went, maybe 6 inches. Um, but there was somebody busy in my garden, and it irritated me. So I had the water hose in my hand and I just laid the water to it and I let the water keep running until the mound collapsed. And I was satisfied. Well, that night, when my husband got here, he said, "Honey, do you know anything about the dead mole in the yard?" I said, "Dead mole? What do you mean?" He said, "Well, we don't have any poison out around here. And, um, it wasn't run over. Um, it's a young, healthy looking mole, but it's dead." And he said, if there's something killing animals out here. I want to know what it is. I said, oh boy, I think I know what it is. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I think it was me. I didn't like the mound he left in my garden, so I laid the water to it until the mound collapsed. And by the time he got out of the garden, he had probably inhaled a bunch of mud and water. And so I probably killed a mole. It wasn't intentional. It really wasn't. Um, yeah. So now my husband knows what a murderer he's married to. Um, but my plants are doing pretty good. Some of them seem to be stunted. They germinated beautifully. I mean, I got probably 90% germination. It went really well. But then I had them under grow lights, and I had some on the um, where the sun could get to them, and they just were weak and spindly. So when I brought them up here, I was hoping they'd, catch up. But some of them are still not doing much of anything. Um, some of them have really gone to town. They're doing well. My kale, it I have I actually have three kale plants. Um, Two of them that are right out here, they're doing beautifully. Um, and I should be able to eat kale now because they're doing so well. The leaves are big. Um, but the one other kale plant I have, it's up in the blue barrels where it gets more sun. And I don't think kale likes that much sun. So I think that's what's stunting my kale. My cabbage, on the other hand, is doing great up there in the sun. The Brussels sprouts are doing okay. The cabbage is doing okay. Um, the pepper plants are doing great. They're loving that sun. Um, the turnips, radishes, and carrots are coming up. Now those I seeded up here, so but they're coming up real nice. My lettuce and spinach, they came up really well. Um, but I thought, I seeded those up here, and I thought that I would probably be able to be eating off them now or next week, but they're taking their sweet old time, so it might be a little longer before we can actually start eating those. Um, but, they're growing, they're looking healthy and green. Um, 2, 3 days ago, there were a couple of my lettuce plants that were starting to yellow. So I was a little worried about those, but now with the rain, they've turned again and they're nice and green and healthy. Um, so if we aren't going to be getting rain, I might have to water those an extra time during the day because, yeah, they're not in the full sun, but I don't know. They just seem to be drying out quickly. Oh, my strawberry plants that I transplanted, those wild strawberry plants, they don't, they have tiny little green strawberries on them. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. Um, I don't expect really to get a taste of them because of our animals out here, but I'm happy that the transplantation took and they're doing well. So that's yay. Um, like I said, my kale is big enough I can actually start eating that now. So that's good. Um, my tomato plants, I have 9 tomato plants. I have one right out here that has a lot of green tomatoes all over it, but the leaves are looking horrible. Something's got to it. That at first I thought someone was watering the leaves, and so I, made it clear, don't water the leaves, just water underneath. And I'm doing most of the watering now, and I know it's not getting water on the leaves, and it only gets it when it rains, which it's happened a couple times, but those leaves are looking really sick. They're really looking sick. I don't know what it is. Um, but the green tomatoes on there are looking good. So I'll just keep watering it and hope that it pulls itself through. Um, I have 3 other, 2 Romas and 2 um, slicing tomatoes uh, that are doing well. And then I have 1 cherry tomato. I love my cherry tomatoes on my salads. That has probably 7 or 8 little tomatoes, but they're green yet. So I'm waiting for those to ripen. And so the tomatoes are doing really good. Couple of the other plants do have the yellow flowers on them, so they should be giving me something soon. Um, our potato plants, we have these tiny little brown, they almost look like a seed, but uh, um, they're not a seed, they're a insect of some sort. And they're all over the potato plants. I'm not sure if they're good for my plants or not so good, but they're there. I did wash the leaves when I watered them and knocked them off, so they're all down the dirt now. And I have to research and see if they're good or bad. And if they're bad, I'll just remove them and keep an eye out there, and might have to keep removing them. But some of that stuff is good for them, so I have to research. And oh, my um, curly uh, parsley is beautiful. I've got to cut some of that now and use that and freeze some of it. So yeah, I'm so excited that I have so many things that are at the point now where I can start to harvest. Yay! My dill, I just harvested some 2 days ago and I had to harvest some more today. Yeah, the dill is just taken off. It's beautiful. Gorgeous dill. Um, yeah, allergies. I've been out in the garden and stuff and I haven't taken anything for it, so sorry. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my garden. Hopefully tomorrow um, we'll have sun and I can bring my camera out there and not worry about getting wet, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about today because it's beautiful out there. Anyway, if you like listening to this old lady, please like and subscribe. Leave me some comments. I'd love to hear from you. And namaste. Good night.